I would love to turn it over to Tara May, the CEO of Aspiritech. So I will stop my share and turn it over to you, Tara. Welcome and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Kristen. We are so honored to be here today. We're huge fans of PYD and the NDMC and all the work that you do. And we've been working in collaboration with them to see what we could do together and how we could introduce mentoring within our own organization. So we're huge believers in the power of mentoring. We're going to talk to you a little bit today about the neurodiversity perspective. And we're going to tell you a little bit about our organization and how we incorporate embracing neurodiversity into the workplace. Nick, you can go ahead and advance to the next screen. So Aspiritech is one of the largest employers of autistic adults in North America. We were founded in 2008 by a husband and wife team who built the organization literally up from its kitchen table into a $7 million tech company. And what's unique about us is that we act like a tech company in every way. We do work for clients, including quality assurance, data services, accessibility testing for websites, which I'm sure is near and dear to everyone's hearts here. And the only thing really that makes us unique is that 90% of our team is on the autism spectrum. So what we believe day in and day out is that neurodiversity is something to be celebrated. And in particular, we believe that differences of all kinds make each workplace stronger. It brings innovation, it brings new ways of thinking, it introduces outside the box concepts, and that everyone has something valuable to bring to the workplace and to the world. We just all might need different supports to bring about our fullest potential. So that's something we think about day in and day out at Aspiritech. Nick, you can go forward to the next one. Oh, you can go one more even. So we have actually a very unique model in our support team. So we actually have 5 employment support specialists on staff. They help think about mental health in the workplace. They help team members if they're having trouble focusing, if they're having anxiety that day, if they're just having a professional hurdle that they need to overcome, if they're having trouble in a social situation, either internally with colleagues or externally with clients, they're there to help support them in any workplace need that they might need in order to make the workplace as successful as possible. We also have a sensory room. Oh, you can go back one. We have a sensory room in our offices that allows quiet lighting, fidget toys, weighted blankets, music, calming techniques, whatever the person might need in order to feel a little bit calmer in that situation or escape the sensory overload of the office. The support team also develops and implements unique accommodations for each of our team members. So if they need something, whether it be small or large, we're there to give it to them, to give them the best workplace potential so that they can bring their potential and their best self to the work. So things could be as simple as a pair of headphones to block out noise in the office, or as big as needing to work from home on a regular basis because transportation is a difficult issue for them. They also conduct regular check-ins to make sure everyone's doing okay. They do guided meditation groups. We have lunch sessions on different focus topics, work-life balance, soft skills. We've created and continue to update a mental health library and resources since depression, anxiety, OCD, and other struggles can go hand in hand with people on the spectrum. We also have a whole series of employee incentives and morale boosters. I brought many of those on board as I joined Aspiritech because I believe whether it's a neurotypical organization or a neurodivergent organization, that positive reinforcement is the best way to motivate your team and have happy team members. We also have technical job coaching for anyone who might need it. And we also try to go well beyond diversity in hiring and think about inclusion efforts while you're there day to day. How do we create the most inclusive environment? So we think a lot about identity focused groups, such as our women's empowerment group, a group for team members who are 40 years or older, and as well as a parent and caregivers group and an autism advocacy group. Nick, you can go on to the next one there. We also offer a variety of soft skills to complement the tech skills. So I mentioned that earlier, but we have a library of about 200 classes that our team members can take. Everything from staying motivated to overcoming shyness, meeting deadlines, dealing with stress, anything that might help you above and beyond the traditional tech skills. The other thing we fundamentally believe is that for people on the spectrum, they're not just capable of being team members, they're capable of being team leaders. So we have neurodivergent leadership at every level of our organization, from analysts at entry level to managers and team leads to executive leadership sitting on the senior leadership team. So it is built, run, and led by neurodivergent team members. We put them at the forefront of planning, management, teaching, and leadership. We also have an autism advocacy group, like I just mentioned. And when we roll out new processes, new benefits, new anything, we talk to that group so that autistic voices can really be forefront and paramount in making decisions at our organization. We also go beyond the walls of our own workplace into the community. We offer dozens of community-oriented programs throughout the year. We do everything from mini golfing to summer picnics to holiday parties and boat tours. We have gaming groups, current events discussions, and book clubs that meet online. And we welcome the community, the autistic community in particular, but the community at large into all of these gatherings. And we really try to create a space of community and inclusiveness that our team members say is a really critical piece of why they love Aspiritech so much. And with that, I'm going to have Nick jump in and tell you a little bit more. Just as an introduction to Nick, he is our VP of People and Culture, and he has really been working his booty off over the past few months to have us be the most people-first organization we possibly can be. And he's going to talk a little bit about what that looks like at Aspiritech.
All right. Hello, everybody. As Tara mentioned, I am Nick. It's very, very exciting and an honor to be able to speak in front of this group. And I'm going to talk to you all a little bit about engaging and supporting a neurodiverse workforce. And what I'm talking about here, this is applicable whether you're talking about a workforce, whether you're talking about supporting people that you are mentoring, it could be just volunteers. These are really tools and methods and ideas that you can take and apply all over, and you will definitely find some success with it. Effective communication is really the umbrella that all of this is going to fall under, especially when it comes to a neurodiverse audience. You have to be very deliberate with how you are communicating and make sure you are being as clear as possible. So you're gonna hear about it a lot over the course of the next 10 or so slides here about communicating, how we communicate, and how we respond to communication as an organization, and how you can maybe take some of those ideas there and apply it to yourselves. The first thing that you're really going to want to do when you think about how you can engage with any group, whether it's neurodiverse, another type of disability, or even a neurotypical workforce, you're going to want to do some kind of survey, whether it's an engagement survey or something much simpler, so you can have a baseline to see how you are doing and compare yourself to other organizations. You know, this is very critical for decision making, tracking your progress, for getting a good sense of your organization's health. And you can see here that employee voice is one of the areas that we excel at the most. This is actually the data from our own engagement survey that we had towards the end of last year. So this is a look at the data that we had as an organization, and we use this to make decisions for how we can best approach our employee group as a whole, instead of just listening to individualized feedback or even just deciding this is what we think is the best course of action to move forward. So without giving yourself some kind of data set, you are going to really struggle with finding what is the best approach without asking the people you are trying to uplift or to be successful. So when it comes to our communication metrics, this was a couple of questions that were asked on the survey, and you can see here how they were responded to, you know, how good our managers were at responding to suggestions from employees, and how good the managers are at providing with everyone a chance to comment on proposed changes. As Tara mentioned, we do have this autism advocacy group, and what we like to do as an organization is when there is a change coming, let's use the mask mandate policy for examples, as we have just recently moved away from masks being a requirement inside our offices. You know, one of our steps in the process there was to gather feedback from this group, to take them the policy, to listen to their questions and to their concerns, and even taking that one step further. When we have policies or changings, we also hold optional town halls for the organization to give everyone a chance to ask questions about the changes before they become officially official, to gather feedback, to respond, and to really give us the opportunity to revise. That is so important, that you aren't just listening to the feedback, you're actually taking what you're getting to heart, and you are using that to shape your organization so you can best further your own mission. Here's an example of that. Also from our employee engagement survey, we asked about benefits and what was most important to our staff. You know, you can see it came in at PTO, and then healthcare and 401k. You know, we listened, we did our best, and we tackled all three of those items in the beginning of the year. You know, you're going to have a hard time if you are asking for feedback and then you're getting that feedback and you're not putting it into action. So you really have to make sure that you are ready and willing to make changes on the feedback that you are getting. DE&I is also something that is very, very important, and not just the diversity and the inclusion. You know, you also have to pay attention to the equity as well, which as an HR professional, I think is something that a lot of organizations miss the mark on. You know, we have a women's discussion group, the gender identity group, autism advocacy, the LGBTQIA+ group, 40+ discussion group, parent and caretakers group. You know, it's gathering feedback from the entire organization with people who are at very different places in their life and very different individuals, to make sure we're being the best possible organization we can for them. And one thing that is particularly interesting about neurodiverse adults is they are 8 times more likely to be LGBTQIA+. And with our organization ourselves, we have 1 in 4 of our neurodiverse team members identify as LGBTQIA+. So a very, very important thing to make sure that we are being equitable to everybody in our organization, which really contributes to our success from the survey here, you can look at some of our marks. 95% of our employees say they're satisfied or highly satisfied with their job, which, I feel like I'm doing a lot of bragging here about our organization, but I am very, very proud of that number and all the work that has gone into making that possible. And I think that really all starts with having an effective communication plan. And we're going to go into a little bit more detail on that in these next few slides, and some strategies that you can use when it comes to communicating with your neurodiverse staff, your staff in general, people who you are mentoring. So keys to success, some really some action items that we can talk about here, and it's all about your consistency in your approach. The more that your neurodiverse staff, your neurodiverse mentees know what they can expect, the more success that you are going to have. So your success, I would say step one is decide the type of organization that you want to be. You can still be a lean, agile, highly efficient organization and still take the time to communicate effectively, to still be good to your staff, whether they are neurodiverse or have another disability. That is on the organization itself to make the decision on what kind of organization they want to be, how they want to treat their staff at all levels, and the commitments that they want to make. So once you decide what type of organization you want to be, you need leadership buy-in. That is the second most important thing. If Tara, as the CEO, wasn't committed to the mission, wasn't committed to empowering our neurodiverse staff, furthering the mission of Aspiritech to provide meaningful employment and social opportunity to adults with autism, we would not be a successful organization. And then if turn, us who report into Tara, if we're not bought in, then the project managers aren't going to be bought in, the leads aren't going to be bought in, the managers aren't going to be bought in. So the organization, it starts from the top when you are defining your success with neurodivergent team members, with all team members in general. You cannot skip out on the leadership buy-in and to make sure that everybody is on the same page. The next thing that I would do is I would define your decision-making process. A lot of times, whether you're dealing with a mentee-mentor relationship, whether you're dealing with an organization, nonprofit, for-profits, the way decisions are made is someone who is not inside the day-to-day decides what is going to be best. Then they pass on what they think is going to be best to the people that they report to, and down the line until it eventually gets to wherever you fall in the organization. And you're just all these degrees of separation removed by what somebody thinks is best for the health of your organization. How can you define and refine the decision-making process so it includes everybody? And I really think that is while we may not have a perfect approach, I think when we make a very deliberate attempt to gather feedback on the organizational and policy changes that we make as an organization at Aspiritech, I think that goes a long way with having a defined decision-making process that our data shows makes our team members feel like they are involved. And when you feel like you are involved, you're going to be more engaged with your work. You're going to be happier in the workplace. You're going to be way, way, way more comfortable. And then you also have to make sure that the feedback you are gathering is more than just a show. You can be an organization and you can say, all right, everybody, we're going to get together. We're going to talk about this change. You get all kinds of feedback from it, and then you don't change a thing. That is useless. It's not going to get you anywhere. So you really have to have a commitment to gathering feedback, to wanting change, to wanting to be good to the group that you are representing in order to be as successful as you possibly can. So let's talk a little bit about mentorship And the approach that we have towards mentorship at Aspiritech, where we have a neurodiverse employee base, managing and mentoring other neurodiverse people. So here is a little pop quiz. If I can get a couple of people's thoughts in the chat here. What do you think is the #1 trait of a highly successful team member? #1 trait of a highly successful team member. You have a team member and they are as successful as they can be. What do they have? We have coachability. Coachability, team player, communication skills. These are all learning mentality. These are all very, very good things. A mentor, open-mindedness. They know exactly what is expected. That is the #1 trait you're going to see in someone who is a highly effective team member. I'm not saying that you're wrong, that open-mindedness, a learning mentality, communication things, collaborative thinking, those are all wonderful things. But if this team member doesn't have clear expectations, there aren't ownerships of tasks, there aren't trackable and measurable goals for the progress that they are making, if they do not know exactly what is expected of them, they aren't going to be able to know whether or not that they are being successful. So when you take this away from this presentation, when you think about the teams that you're leading, the people that you are mentoring, think about the expectations and think about whether these expectations are assumed or if these expectations are known. Are they clearly laid out? Especially when it comes to a neurodiverse audience, very clear written instructions, tasks that are assigned, that is going to go a very, very long way and make the processes and things that you are trying to achieve much more manageable and much more free of anxiety for the people who are seeing it through. So a little more interaction here. How can this expectation be better? Say you got something going on and you are to schedule repeating follow-up meetings to track progress. That sounds like a pretty reasonable expectation, but how can this be better given what we've just thought about? I'll give 30 seconds or a minute here for people to think about it and respond in the chat. How can this expectation be better? Or what is this expectation missing? Consistent communication, that is very good. Any more thoughts here? Schedule a repeating follow-up meeting to track progress. Add to calendar for consistent meetings. Have colleagues set the meeting. Available in writing and verbally. All very, very good things. Click ahead here to show you how I would write this goal, whether it was someone who was a neurodiverse audience member, or if this was someone I was mentoring or someone I was coaching in any capacity. I would be very specific and deliberate. The mentor schedules a bi-weekly one-on-one with their mentee to discuss goals, milestones, progress, and blockers. It might make the sentence twice as long, but now there is no guesswork with what is required from the people involved. So I would really take some deliberate action to maybe look at some of the policies that you have in place, maybe some interactions or expectations that you have with other people, mentors, mentees on a day-to-day basis, and make sure everything is very crystal clear. Because if you want someone to be as successful as they possibly can, they need to know exactly what is expected of them. Regularly schedule a follow-up meeting. That is an expectation that assumes a lot of things. And earlier in my career, I definitely would not think there was anything wrong with that sentence. But now I know that is not as clear and concise as it possibly can be to set people up for success. Here is an example of some goal tracking. It's very good to have something that is right there in front of you, that is measurable, you're able to go in and look at. This is actually a format that we use at Aspiritech if someone needs some coaching or goals established to them to process, whether it's on a daily or weekly basis. We create this goal sheet for them that they go in to establish a rhythm to mark whether their goals are completed, whether there's a follow-up, whether they're incomplete, to leave notes there. You know, don't eat cake for breakfast. I actually did fail at that today, even if that's a joke. Some leftover Easter cake for breakfast was definitely the perfect way for me to start my day. So before we move on to the talking a little bit about our summer internship program, and then moving on to questions after that, I really want to reiterate, even though I have said it a million times through the course of this presentation, the importance of being clear, concise, and consistent communication when it comes to your neurodiverse team members, the neurodiverse people that you are interacting with on a professional basis. I really truly believe, and we have seen it in practice here with our success, is that is what is going to go the longest way in making sure that you are being successful in engaging and supporting your neurodiverse team members, your mentees, whoever they may be. Tara, if you could do me the honor of saying a few words about our summer internship program, I would greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nick, for that amazing presentation. I will share that one of my observations over the past year, which is how long I've been CEO of Aspiritech, is that there truly is a sort of universal approach to all of this, right? All those tips that he was giving on the importance of clear communication, expectation setting, management and leadership style for neurodivergent people is absolutely true for everyone. I think it may be even more important when you're coaching a neurodivergent workforce, but it's absolutely something that can be applied in every workforce and is a way to help all people succeed. Like Nick said, we wanted to just wrap up by sharing an opportunity that's available if you know students who are neurodivergent who may be interested. We are offering a summer program for people pursuing careers in technology. We offer a learning management system filled with courses and modules that can be completed at both a synchronous and asynchronous pace, because we try to be respectful of everyone's learning styles. There's a curriculum for quality assurance and data services, as well as accessibility testing. There's a variety of soft skill courses that are available, as well as our support team that's there to coach all of the students through the program. Not only are we offering that in the summer, we will be introducing that on a more regular basis in 2024 with some fall and spring opportunities as well. So if you know anyone who might be interested and is on the spectrum or is neurodivergent in some way, we can share through the link to apply. It's all remote, so it can be anywhere in the country, and we're excited to launch this and share this with all of you. So we thought we'd add it on to the end of our presentation.